Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of Gardiner Houlgate Auctioneers based in the UK. We're going to have a look at one of their latest auctions. This is the musical instrument auction, which covers quite a few things, kind of general musical instruments, and also there's a lot of bowed strings in this towards the end, so it should be fairly interesting. 414 lots in this auction, and it's happening on the 9th of December. Anyone that's watched my kind of videos recently will know that there's quite a few Gardiner Houlgate musical instrument related auctions going on at the moment. There was one that just finished today, which was kind of electric guitars and acoustic guitars. Then there's one tomorrow that's more kind of like memorabilia type guitar related things and amplifiers. Then on the 9th you obviously have this auction, but there's also like an antiques guitar auction a little bit earlier than this one. So this one here on the 9th of December is the kind of general stuff. The buyer's premium for this is 26.4%, so that's the amount that you pay on top of the final hammer price. As I said, this is a UK based auction, so check all the terms and conditions if you're looking to kind of purchase or ship outside of the UK, if you're in Europe or worldwide, all of the CITES restrictions and all of that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, we have quite a lot of things to kind of go through today. I'm going to do it like quite briefly. I'll stop on a few things and just have a look if we see anything interesting, but as there's lots of lots, our new process is to basically just do a brief overview and see what we've got. So we have some piano accordions here, usually a few in this auction, all the usual kind of names here. Mandolin there, contemporary mandolin. Going to see a few kind of banjos and other string related instruments here. Another mandolin, some kind of general music stuff, novelty walking cane, Samek ukulele there, a few more banjos, classic concertina there is always popular. C. Jones concertina in need of restoration, as you know, concertinas are always quite popular. Lots of other banjos here. If there's anything really outstanding, we'll kind of click on it. Neapolitan mandolin there looks fairly standard. A theorbowed kind of guitar there, more mandolins and a few ukuleles. Looks like a fairly high level ukulele here. A Kamale ukulele with herringbone banded table and sound hole. There you go. Small crack 1920s, 1930s, 3 to 400. These kind of high level or kind of older ukuleles are really worth quite a lot. Obviously, like the Martin ukuleles and things are worth even more, but and there's a Gibson example here. So it's a Gibson ukulele Uke 1, so 700 to 1000 there. It's, with the original fitted case. That's quite interesting. Oh, here we go. Speaking of Martin, this Martin ukulele, yeah, 1500 to 2000. It's got an ivory bits to it. Actually, I feel like we should probably just click on this one because I missed this one. The Paul F. Summers, the Wakiki ukulele there, 3 to 400. Then we've got a George Formby Dallas E banjolele there, 600 to 800. The banjolin there. Oh, this is an interesting one here. A very fine and unique Bacon and Day Montana Silver Bell NE Plus Ultra number 6 banjo there. This is quite a fancy looking one as the banjos go. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. 5 to 7,000, so high end banjo there. A few other banjos here. It's a Gibson banjo ukulele, 6 to 800. Let's have a look at this. Early 19th century French mahogany square piano inscribed Le Pin. Interesting. 1500 to 2,500 there. We've got another square piano by Adam Bayer, London 1774. 1500 to 2,500 there. Piano is in need of significant restoration. Okay. Interesting, and interesting that they actually tell you that it will cost a few £1,000s to restore. That's interesting to say that in an auction listing because it can be unpredictable, these things. Few cases, things like that. Another mandolin here, contemporary lute by Max Kurzendorfer, Mark de Kirk in 1945. Some of these earlier lutes are a little bit on the heavy side in the construction, but hard to tell from photos. 3 to 500 there. A lot of various violins and things. Should we have a quick look just in case there's anything interesting? Very difficult to tell, but probably not. Another piano accordion, some wood there. Another ukulele, bouzouki. Another old Hawaiian ukulele. Let's have a quick look at that as we're on a ukulele mission today. 3 to 500. That looks like a nice one. Bergstrom Music Co. This ukulele was appraised by the Museum of Ukuleles in Hawaii, who stated the label was that of a retailer, not the maker. Also, they confirmed it was rare and dated to circa 1907. Okay, there we go. Interesting. Some didgeridoos. Don't see those that often. Some bowrons there. More contemporary mandolins. Contemporary ukulele. Let's see which one that is. Kala model. Big brand. Some more instruments here. Musical saw. That's interesting there. Another musical saw. F-style mandolin there, Gibson mandolin. Let's have a look. Gibson style A mandolin. This is the less desirable type, 5 to 700. Banduria there. That's an interesting lot here. Melodeon parts. That's curious. It's slightly different. Couple of more concertinas there. Lacknall & Co. A German one. These are always quite popular. Contemporary harp there. Ooh, Victorian music stand. Let's have a look at that. Very fancy. A gong there. Looks like a vina. It's quite an interesting looking and some kind of a drum with that. Internet is thinking about itself there. It's quite a nice looking vina there. Looks in a bit of a state of disrepair there. £60 to £100. Could be a nice kind of decoration piece. Some music stands there. Otwin mandolin. These kind of other style of European mandolins. Some more banjos here. Another F-style mandolin. It's quite a nice high quality Lacknall 3-row Anglo concertina there, 1200 to 1800. These always sell. These are really popular. Selma saxophone there, alto saxophone and a baritone. These are always, and a con baritone saxophone there, 800 to 1000. These are also popular. Rosewood flute in the form of a truncheon. That's pretty curious. 150 to 200. That's quite cool. A whole load of random bits there. Kind of interesting little lot there. Selma series clarinets there. Cocoswood C clarinet, an E flat clarinet. This is interesting. Pearwood bassoon. Iron stamped Prof Etour. Interesting looking one. 2 to 4,000. Several wormholes have been filled. Okay. Clarinet there. Boxwood and ivory clarinet, a composite. Rosewood flutes. More flutes there. Blackwood flutes. And some more of wind instruments here. E flat tuba there. Boozian hawks. Whole load of cornets. Set of old Northumbrian pipes. Okay, 3 to 500. This really is quite a diverse auction, this Gardiner Houlgate one. It's probably the most diverse one in the UK, the most interesting. Another saxophone here, another tenor, Selma, Martin baritone saxophone. More saxophones here, alto clarinet, interesting, LeBlanc. Another alto there, another alto. Not seen so many alto clarinets in one auction before. Some more clarinets here, Bougian Hawks, Noblet, loads more, Howarth clarinets there, oboe, Howarth, old bassoon there, 2 old bassoons, interesting. And onwards to the next page. Now let's see what else we have. Ooh, more bassoons here. Let's have a look at that. Quite a lot of bassoons as well. Hawks and Co. This is quite good. Good Northumbrian Small Pipes by Robert Reed, North Shields, circa 1835. Chanter absent. 3,500 to 5,000. Interesting. Flutes here. Metal flutes. Rosewood flute. Clarinet there. Metal clarinet. French horn. Oboe. More oboes here. Let's have a look at this. Boxwood and ivory flute, stamped J Wood, London, 150 to 250. This is, let's have a look at this. A quartern bassoon with 3 crooks, 2 to 400. Oboe, contemporary bassoon there. Let's have a look at this. 8-key Blackwood flute by K & Co. Boxwood and ivory flutes here. Focus with flutes, some German violins, some cases, more violin cases. Let's have a look at this. Interesting violin in need of restoration. Hard to tell. A bit of a lack of photographs there. Another violin that needs to be rebuilt. And we're on to bowed stringed instruments here. German violins, some French, contemporary violas here. The French violins. I think this lot is quite interesting. These scrolls were purchased by the vendor from the dispersal of Hill's Workshop auction held by Bonhams over 20 years ago. So from the Hill's Workshop, the famous kind of shop. Some decapitated scrolls, that's kind of interesting. Some other necks and scrolls, some more bits and bobs, some cases. Let's have a look at this, a 19th century transitional violin. Once again, difficult to really tell what's going on because there aren't many photos. Matchstick violin, interesting. More standard kind of violins here. Late 19th century French violin. Needs a bit of repair there. And another interesting 19th century English violin without purfling. Quite nice back. And a few more kind of German violins there. Slightly unusual violin here. English violin by an inscribed G. Wheeler. Let's see what else we have here. Some other standard looking kind of German instruments here. Let's have a, these look pretty odd. Interesting and unusual 8-string violin. Okay. There's not just one, there's a few of them. So that's a bit curious. Okay, some more cases. Cases here. 20th century violin, Bohemian violin. More kind of fairly standard looking violins here. Let's have a look at this. Scottish violin. Labelled and repaired, improved by John Hardy, Edinburgh. Okay, repaired table, soundpost crack. More kind of violins here. Okay, more standard. Let's have a look at this. Late 19th century violin of the Calcin School. 100 to 150. More kind of standard looking violins here. It's definitely worth looking at these in more detail, but we're just kind of taking a brief look through a whole load of generic-y kind of violins there. 19th century violin. Let's see if there's anything going on here. More half-size violins, more mid-19th century. Various violins there. some kind of books. See all the standard books that we usually see. There's nothing too outrageous here. I think this means that after this the better quality instruments will appear. Load of bow boxes there, load of bows, lots of different kind of older bows with the bone adjusters there. Interesting. Whole load of different bows here. Let's see some French bows in here and some German bows. Don't think we need to look too much at some of these, but this looks interesting. It's an English silver and ivory mounted violin bow and stamped W.E. Hills and Sons in need of a restoration, 5 to 800. Yeah, I say it definitely needs a bit of restoration there. There's another silver mounted cello bow there, stamped Hills and Sons, 1000 to 2000 there. Another English silver mounted violin bow, by and stamped Dodd, 1500 to 2000. Got some more interesting violins here. Let's have a look at this one. Interesting late 18th, early 19th century violin, unlabelled. This is the kind of stuff that probably speculative people will spend a fair amount on, but yeah, it looks nice. Interesting violin. This is the section that there's some really interesting instruments in. Actually, we should probably have a look at this one. 18th century 7/8 violin, labelled Nicholas Georgius Skomal, 800 to 1200 there. So definitely a few things here. Got an English violin here, possibly of the Joseph Hill school, 400 to 600. So a few more 18th century German. Let's have a look at this Dutch violin, probably by Alphonse van Hoof, then 1928, 3 to 5,000. Some more German violins here. English viola. Let's have a look at this. Interesting late 18th, early 19th century unpurfled half-size violin in need of restoration. Looks fairly kind of German, 2 to 300 there. That's a few. Let's have a look at this interesting violin, circa 1900. Wow, quite a nice back on that, 1500 to 2000, 35.7 length of back. Let's look into that. That's quite nice. Yeah, it's definitely worth investigating this part of the sale a bit more. Interesting violin, circa 1800, unlabelled, 6 to 800. Let's carry on. Many interesting things here, but let's not get too stuck in it. 19th century violin, labelled Luigi Carlos. Interesting looking violin, whatever it actually is. Curious. More violins here. Let's have a look at that one. French violin, labelled fait par l'atelier de Paul Mongenot, 1500 to 2000 there. Okay, French violin of the Corsan school there. Let's have a look at this English violin, circa 1800, unlabelled, 300 to 500. Some of the Strovars here, more German violins here. More German violins. I think let's go on to the last page. Let's have a look at this violin, circa 1900, 2 to 300 there. Let's see, anything good and interesting early 19th century violin, 4 to 6,000. Some of the estimates on here are pretty high on Gardiner Houlgate, but they seem to do well in business, so I'm sure that it works for them. Let's see what else do we have here. Ooh, gone a bit awry there. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at viola here. Good English viola by and labelled J.W. Owen, 4 to 6,000 in Leeds. Quite a few English violins there. Let's have a look at this interesting violin, labelled Gio Battista Gabriele Firenze, 1750. 35.4 length of back, 3.5 to 5,000 there, the estimate. Let's have a look at this. English violin by and labelled H. Simpson, 1919. 500 to 700 there. This is a curious looking viola. Interesting old viola, unlabelled, 3.5 to 5,500. Interesting. I think the back on this is pretty cool. It's an interesting looking viola for sure, but would you pay 3.5 to 5.5 for it? I'm not 100% sure. I think this was also in the last sale. A few more English violins here. Another interesting 18th century, early 19th century violin, 4 to 800. Some cellos here, some bags. Some cellos coming up here. Interesting late 18th century cello in need of restoration, 1,000 to 1,500. 18th century English cello, that's interesting. Faintly inscribed J. Brown, London, 800 to 1,400 there. Looks like a good restoration project for someone. Probably looks like a big soundpost crack on the back potentially. Soundpost cracks to the back, yeah, so it's substantial restoration needed there. Another interesting 18th century cello unlabelled, 3 to 5,000 there. Ooh, done it again. And onto a few double basses there. Let's have a look at this one here. Good French double bass of the Derazzi School, circa 1875. Repair history of this double bass is as follows: John Castle, Newark, March 1884. Winter and Son, Hull, 1887. Francis William Calcho, branded neckgraft, internal label, Barton Street, Notts, 1941. Interesting. Yeah, very curious. Well, there we have it. That is the kind of a really brief overview of the musical instrument auction for Gardiner Houlgate. I mean, lots of really interesting instruments there, lots of interesting bowed instruments. As normal, I've kind of tried to not go too in depth into the bowed instruments this time, but I would have a look at some of the violins, violas and things if you're into that kind of stuff, because there's definitely some pretty cool things there. So yeah, link in the description as always, so check it out and see what you think. Definitely worth spending a bit of time looking through the catalogue if you're into that kind of stuff. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.